Hello, good day. You are welcome to another class, another section on this our YouTube channel. This is GST 104. It is a 2-unit course and it's a general course for all 100 levels second semester, regardless of your department and the program you are studying. This course has been designed to help you appreciate how to use a library, what to expect in a library, how a library looks like, the settings of the library, categories of books we have, the arrangement of those books, the classification of those books, and all library services that are offered in a typical library. That is what the course is all about. That one or two times before you might have, been to a library. I believe the first time you found yourself in a library, you might have felt a bit lost. What is this place all about? Why is everything books, books, books? How were they able to arrange this large volume of books? You might be somehow confused, but this course is going to help you overcome all your questions and doubts about what a library is and the use of the library. So, it is just a semester course. It's not a continuous course like GST101 that has the second version of it, GST102. No, use of library is just one semester course. Once you are done with it in the second semester of yours, of 100 level, you are done with it for the rest of your program. It is compulsory for all undergraduate students in the university, regardless of whether you are from Faculty of Science or Management Science or Computing or Education or Health Science. Regardless of your department, you will do GST104. So let your mind be ready. Let your mind be ready. The objective of this course is, or are, that at the end of the course, you should be able to do the following. Identify sources of information. We have information. You hear information from several sources, from several places, but you will learn about sources of information in this course. So at the end of this course, you'll be able to identify the several sources where you can get information from. You'll be able to collect secondary information using the library, which means you will know that the library is a source of secondary information. And you'll be able to collect such information from the library. This course will also tell you how to utilize secondary information from library for academic writing. At the end of this course, you should be able to use the knowledge you gain from this course to write any form of academic writing, including a final year project, because you are going to see quite a lot of things, a lot of resources in this course that will help you in your future project. I mean, you will eventually write a final year project in the university before you graduate. So this course is going to give you a lot of resources you will need to succeed in that aspect. Then it's going to imbibe in you how to manage information received from a library. So we're just going to take the overview of the course in this video. This is just an introductory aspect of it, just an introduction, so that you know what you are expecting in the course GST102, basically the use of library and how to get the most from a library, the types of library we have, the classifications of library we have, the resources we have in the library, and the rest of them. Excuse me. So I was saying, to successfully complete this course, You read the study units, listen to the audios and videos, do all the assessment, open the links and read, participate in discussion forums, read the recommended books and other materials provided, prepare your portfolios and participate in the online facilitation. And each study unit has introduction, intended learning outcomes, and content, conclusion, summary, references, and further readings. So the introduction will tell you the expectations in the study unit. Read and note the intended learning outcomes, which we refer to ILO in this context, intended learning outcomes. So the intended learning outcomes tell you what you should be able to do at the completion of each unit. That is why you have them there, so that when you read the intended learning outcomes and you are done with that unit, excuse me, you'll be able to know if you have truly or successfully gone through that unit at the end. Because when you are done with the unit and you are unable to meet up with the standards of the learning outcome of that unit, it means you haven't done anything in that unit. You need to repeat the unit. So it helps you to evaluate your learning. So that is all about this course. Well, this course is a GST. It has TMA, 30%. Exam is 70%. So when you do TMA over 30, you get your 30 marks from the TMA. You have the exam 70 marks, 70 questions, and each question is carried 1 mark. So that is how the course is being evaluated at the end of the day. So we have some units to study in this material. It's just a very short material with 17 study units, short study units, and divided into 6 modules. Yes, you have 6 modules in this material with 17 units. So in module 1, which is the first module we'll be treating in the first lesson, we are going to talk about types of library and services. Types of library and services, which means the types of library we have and the services offered by those libraries or by the library entirely. And we'll talk about a brief history of how the library came into being. What was the first thing that happened that brought the idea or that bettered the picture of a library? How did it all start? What happened in China, in Tianjin Chamber? What were the influences of the archives from old time? How did they start the the idea of collecting materials or resources, keeping them in a place, forming some kind of a book archive and the rest of them? How did that idea translated from the local medieval period idea to the modern library we're having today? So we're going to talk about a bit of history in that module 1. Then after the history, that is when we'll talk about what a library is. Then we move to types of library and the library services we have. That will move us to module 2. In module 2, we'll talk about the research techniques. The research techniques. This course is not a course you have to, so you will like to skip, because it's very important for your final year projects, seminars, and the rest of them you build, because you learn a lot from the course. You learn how to source for materials, the right place to go where you need a particular material for a particular aspect of your project. So under research techniques, let me take you back a bit to types of library, just a summary or a paraphrase. We'll be talking about the school library, the academic library, those are the basic and the common one. Yeah, we have the public library, which is supported by taxes, just a public space created by the community or the society where it belongs to. So We'll talk about several types of libraries and their functions. Then the research techniques, you have information sources. Where do you get your information? The literature you want to review for your writing, for your project, where do you source them from? So we'll talk about information sources we have, and we are going to give you a lot of examples in this material. Practical site links that you can visit even while studying the material and check for different resources like the Scorpius, the JSTOR and, Google Scholar and the rest of them. Quite a lot of them you are going to see. Some of you don't even know some of those sites exist. The only thing you know how to use is your ChatGPT, your Google. You don't know that there are quite a lot of places you can go where resources are available for academic purposes. Then we'll talk about the databases content and open educational resources that we have, which we usually call OER, Open Educational Resources. Then in Module 3, we'll talk about organization of library materials like the library catalogs, the classification schemes. Those are the major two we'll talk about. The library catalogs, classification schemes under Module 3, that is under organization. Then we'll go to Module 4. So you can see that just short units. Then in Module 4, we have ICT use in the library. That's a kind of marriage between library and ICT. What impact is technology, which is ICT, the use of ICT, what impact is it having on the library? How has it enhanced the operations of the library? So we're going to talk about digital libraries and then computer-based literature search. It's one of the advances in technology. We have digital libraries now, and we have computer-based literature search. And in Module 5, we'll talk about good reading habits and study skills. You'll see that these reading habits, you've done it in your GST101, you've done it in your NOU 107. You are meeting it again now in second semester in GST104. The reason is that it's an important skill if you will succeed as a student in none or in any institution you find yourself. You will need to read. There's a popular saying that the day you stop reading is the day you start decaying. Yes, it's going to be very, 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 very bad if you spend a day without gaining new knowledge and you're in this world, the world that is ever changing, dynamic, new inventions every day, new skills every day, new ways of operating every day. And if you don't upskill yourself, you'll become obsolete in no time. So reading is very important. So talk about the basic study techniques and methods we have, developing good reading habits, and handling examinations. That will lead us to Module 6, which will be the last module we'll treat in this course. We are going to have in Module 6, you need to learn the idea of copyright, plagiarism, and referencing. Most of us, we abuse this a lot, especially in this day of social media. Somebody made a post, sat down, thought about an idea, wrote a post from his own wealth of experience, his own knowledge. Then someone else saw the post and just copy it, even when the person acknowledge himself as the author of the write-up. Somebody else will just randomly copy it online, paste it on his own wall or on his own page, and remove the name of the author to claim as if he or she was the one who came up with the idea. That is a common crime that is going on in the world today due to the advances in technology and social media taking over everything. You can get arrested for that because that is, if you have permission to do that by the author, if the author says share everywhere, fine. But while you are sharing, you need to remain, sorry, the author needs to be remain acknowledged in the body of the write-up. So if you really need something like that, something of quality like that, then you sit down yourself, come up with your own. You may read his own, get ideas from there, develop it or redevelop it, come up with new ways of presenting it. Then you have your own original version. So that's what we call about copywriting, plagiarism, and referencing. So we have that under that you will learn what we call copyright laws. You will learn about plagiarism and its implications. You will learn Harvard in-text citation and referencing, and then the APA in-text citing and referencing. Those are two major popular ones. We have quite a lot of them, but I think APA and Harvard, you will learn how to use them so that when you are reading a book and you see the referencing style used, you will be able to identify if this is Harvard or this is APA or this is American, wherever. So we have quite a lot of them. So that is all we will be talking about in this course. It's a course that's going to expose you to the library. You can see we have several links here that you can click to read more about this course and to learn more about libraries. We have quite a lot of links here, very important ones. When we start the class, we'll start consulting each of these links one after the other for us to know their uses and their usefulness. You see, we have the ones that talk about the types of libraries. We have the library classification. We have some links that leads us to types of information, and the ones that leads us to databases. So each of these, they have their usefulness. We'll visit the most important ones during the class. So what we will do is we will divide the class into units. We'll be holding several short classes. This is just an introduction. We'll be holding several short classes in the course. So maybe in the class, we will treat two units rather, or probably a unit per class, depends on the situation. So on how long the unit is. So I believe you have an idea of a library now. Well, we haven't gone deeply into it, but you should know that a library is just a place that contains a collection of books. Collection of books that are meant for borrowing. You can borrow them, you can read them there. That is what a library is. So you will learn the proper definition when we enter Module 1, Unit 1 and 2. So in Unit 1, which will be our first class, after this introduction or this introductory class, the next class we will talk about Units 1 and 2, the definition of a library, the brief history of the library, types of library services, and the types of libraries we have. So thank you for watching this introductory part. In summary, this book is totally concerned, or this course is totally concerned with how to use a library effectively to get the most out of the library. So I believe you will enjoy your time or the time you will devote to studying this course in full. So see you in the first class, which will come up shortly after this introductory class. Please like, share, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that when new series come on, you will be notified first. Thank you.